This is Jill Hazard with DNS Technologies. Today we are going to go through end user training on the Yealink phone. We will start with the buttons on the bottom of the phone. Okay, these will correspond with your display, and your X key can be used as an exit or a backup key. This here is your volume control, and then on this side of the phone is your headset button. If you are using headsets, we will go over this in more detail when we are doing your install. The mute key is over here. When you press it to turn it on during a live call, you will have the light turn on. Just be careful when you're using it. If you're going to have a sensitive conversation, put your call on hold or end the call. The button right here is your hold button. This is your transfer button, your speakerphone button, your redial, which will come up with any phone calls that you've made or received, and you can use the display to call those people back. And then up here is your voicemail button. Okay, now we will go over the display and the programmed buttons. All right, at the top of the display, you're going to see your own name listed, and you will see various icons, which we will go over a little bit later in this training. The first two buttons are going to be labeled with your extension number and are used for calling in and receiving calls and making calls. The park buttons 1 and 2 are used similar to a hold situation. However, anybody can pick up those calls. So if you are putting a call out on park, it's going to light up the light and put a call there for someone else to grab. The end user would then just walk up to any phone with these buttons, press the button right next to it, and grab the call back. The buttons over here are labeled with people's extension numbers or people's names, and if you just push the button, it will call them directly. You will also be able to use that to see when that person is on the phone. If your phone has 2 pages of programming on it, this button down here is going to have labels for 1 and 2, possibly 3. You would push the button to go to the next page, push it again to go back to the first page. At the bottom of the screen, you have an intercom button, which if you use that button in conjunction with someone's extension, you'll come over their speakerphone. The directory button, if you press that, is where you could put in all of your speed dials, your personal speed dials. Do not disturb. If you press this button, your calls will go directly to your voicemail. If you look at the top of the screen, you will see a circle with a line through it, letting you know that your calls are going to do not disturb. This is important to note because a lot of times when people call in and say they're not getting phone calls, their phone is on Do Not Disturb. You simply push the button, turn it off, and it will ring again. The menu button is not necessarily something you need to get into. However, if you like to play around with your phone a little bit, you can go in and mess around with that a little. Okay, at the top of the screen, you're also going to see an envelope that has a number next to it, and that corresponds with the voicemail messages. If you had 3 messages, the number would be 3. In this case, there is 1 voicemail on the phone, and you will also notice that the light is blinking at the top. Okay. Now we will go on to a few training exercises with another phone. So we're going to call in from another extension, and you're going to notice that the display is going to change to answer, forward, silence, and reject. Okay, I'm going to just pick it up and answer it. When that call is ringing in, if you were to push the reject button, it is similar to on your cell phone pressing reject call. So the person is going to be able to tell that they were just sent to voicemail. If you ignore the call, it will continue to ring silently at your phone, which is probably the one you would like to use so your customers don't know that you're sending them directly to voicemail. You don't need to use the answer key. You can just pick up your phone, or you can touch the speed dial or the speakerphone button at the bottom of the phone. Okay, I currently have a live call, and I'm going to put that call on park. Okay, so now you can see that the red light is lit up where that call is parked. So you would just walk up, touch that button at another phone, and retrieve it. Okay. Also, at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice the buttons changed again. You have a transfer button, a hold button, conference, and end call. The transfer button is the same whether you're using it at the top of the phone or the hard-coded buttons on the bottom. Same with the hold button. So if you put the call on hold, the caller is going to hear music on hold, and you're going to see that your light is flashing up here so you know where you put that call on hold. To grab it back, just touch that button, and you have the call. To transfer a call, you would push the transfer button, dial the extension, or use the buttons up here for the person you want to use, send it to, and it's going. And now you can see this button up here is blinking because that phone is ringing and that person is not answering the phone because it's me. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have you call in one more time, please. We're going to pick that call up again, and we're going to show you how to use the conference feature, which if you just touch this conference button, and I'm going to put it on speaker so you can actually hear it, you get an automatic dial tone where you can then push another extension. You wait for that person to answer. You let them know that you want to do a conference call, and once they answer, you can push the button again for conference to join the calls, and you'll hear a tone letting you know that everyone's joined together. There was also an end call button right up here. It is in red because basically it's a hang up feature. If you push that button during a call, it's going to hang up on a caller. Okay, if you're using the hold button, you have to pick up a call back at your phone. So when you're put the call on hold, you cannot walk to another extension and pick that up. This is different for a lot of you if you were able to see all the lines on your phone previously. In this case, you would want to push the park button, walk to the other extension, and then pick it up. Okay, to call another extension, again, you can either push these buttons or dial the extension directly, and the call will go through.